Hello everyone and welcome to lesson 35 where we are going to have a look at squinting modifiers. If you don't know what a squinting modifier is, then I don't blame you, because in my experience as an English language teacher, whether it's been teaching Cambridge exams, business exams or legal English exams, no course books that I have seen have dealt with the problem, the writing error, never mind legal writing error, but the writing error which is squinting modifiers. But hopefully in this video I'm going to give you a very quick overview of what it is, why it's a problem and how you can fix it. So let's get started. The first thing to do is to start at the basics, and that is to have a look at what a modifier is. Now, a modifier is a word that changes the meaning of another word. I know that sounds technical, but we use modifiers all of the time. Adjectives and adverbs are perfect examples of modifiers. So, for example, if you think of a man, then you have an image in your head of a man. But if I said a happy man, or a cold man, or a hungry man, then immediately your picture of that man changes because of the modifier, which is the adjective. It's the same thing with adverbs and verbs. So we could use a structure to do something. Well, we can do something quickly, we can do something unhappily, we can do something frustratedly or worriedly. So those adverbs change the way that verb, that act is taking place. So adjectives and adverbs are very, very common examples of modifiers. Now, when it comes to where you put modifiers, the general rule is that you put the modifier as close as possible to the thing it's modifying. But I'm sure if you remember your lessons about adverbs in particular, you will know that adverbs can go in a number of different places in a sentence and still make grammatical sense. But that's where the problem is with squinting modifiers, because if you put a modifier in grammatically the correct place, it might, however, that adverb, because this is mainly a problem with adverbs, that adverb might look in two different directions. That adverb might look at what follows in the sentence and what comes before in that sentence. And of course, that's what a squint is. A squint is a condition where you're looking in two different directions. Now, I can joke about this a little bit because I have a very small squint. So I've got eyes that look in different directions. And that's what the problem is of a squinting modifier. Now, the further problem to that is that there is no rule in English which determines which way that modifier looks. So there's no rule that says the modifier has to look that way or the modifier has to look that way. I know in other languages, for example in Polish, it can, and we'll talk about that in a second. But because there is no rule, then it allows the possibility for there to be a misunderstanding. And if there is a misunderstanding, there can be a legal problem. Let me give you a simple example. So we've got a sentence. The lawyer only prepared the document. And the modifier here is only, and it's squinting. It's looking in two different directions. Which directions? Well, is it saying only the lawyer? So the lawyer only and no one else? Or is it saying only the document and nothing else? Take a second here just to think about that, because if squinting modifiers is a brand new thing for you, then it might take you a few moments to just understand how only could refer to two different things. Are we just talking about the lawyer only? Or are we talking about the preparing the document only? Well, let's just accept that this is a squinting modifier, and let's accept that this sentence can be understood in two different ways. Is it this or is it this? Because that's what English rules allow for. So how then can we avoid this potential for misunderstanding? Well, we've got to redraft the sentence. How do we do that? We've got a number of different choices. We can say only the lawyer prepared the document. So for example, we just have to move only to the beginning of the sentence. Or we can say the lawyer prepared the document only and nothing else. And now only is much closer to, or is on the other side of the document and cannot modify the lawyer. So that simple redraft eliminates the squinting modifier, it eliminates the writing error, it eliminates the confusion, and it then creates clarity. Okay, so here are the teaching tips. This is an English writing error, and as I said in the introduction to this video, I have not met this error in any of the books that I used when I was teaching general English, business English, or legal English. If you want to find out more about squinting modifiers, get onto Google, type in squinting modifiers, or have a look at dedicated legal English writing books, the books, for example, by Brian Garner or by Richard Widdick. You're going to find more information in those books. There are some common offenders when it comes to squinting modifiers, and the two most common are only and often. If you are writing sentences with only or often in the middle of those sentences, you could be writing a sentence with squinting modifiers, which means that your sentence could be understood in two different ways. This is a problem mostly, in fact, if not mostly, entirely caused by adverbs. So be careful of adverb use. I know grammatically you can put adverbs in a number of different places in the sentence. However, if you put them in the wrong place, and I say wrong because it will create a squinting modifier, then you are causing the reader problems, and of course yourself problems if you're writing something which could be misunderstood. I said about Polish a few seconds ago, there are other language rules in other languages. For example, in Polish, there is a convention that the modifier looks forward. A modifier does not look backwards, or at least that's what I've been told. This does not apply in English, as I said, so don't think that your L1 grammar rules will apply in English. Your mother tongue grammar rules don't always apply in English. So just remember what a squinting modifier is and do your best to avoid it in your writing. Okay, time for some questions, and these questions are available for you to download on my Patreon page, as well as access to my answer videos and all of the other content I have on my legal English courses and my business English writing courses on my Patreon page. So if you want to support me on Patreon and get access to all of that material, please think about doing so. You'll find a link below this video. So for those questions, I'd like you to read the sentences and identify the squinting modifier, then redraft the sentence to focus on one of or both of the possibly intended meanings. So by way of example, the lawyer only prepared the document. Only is the squinting modifier, and you could redraft it in one of two equally correct ways. Only the lawyer prepared the document, or the lawyer prepared the document only. So have fun with those questions and check your answers against mine in my answer video when you get them done.